Time for broadcast.
The joys of doing it live.
There it is. Okay, sorry. For some reason, OBS decided to change its sound settings from whatever I had set to default. Few weird
play
days.
the sound again and start over. Let's do it again.
Let's see if I can. Oh God, hang on. No,
Let's do it again. This time with feeling.
Yeah, put another quarter in it.
Faster and more intense.
More cowbell.
That
hang on, I gotta do all these things now.
The George Lucas faster, more intense.
Okay, here we go. There it is. There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie Podcast. Sometimes is your co-host Brian, and joining me, as always, is your co-host Jim.
As always, mostly at night.
They come out at night mostly. Also, your co-host Hunter.
Yeah, I'm here. I had a joke all planned out, and now I lost it.
Fudge! I'm so sorry.
No,
I ruined it.
No. It's good. I think it was something like a Space Game Junkie, The Final Frontier. This is a podcast brought to you by four guys who don't know what they're talking about.
We really don't. And your co-host Spaz, y'all.
Coming to you live from the Build the Ship Workshop.
Oh my God!
Build the Ship Workshop.
Folks,
I wish that was a thing. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great. Get through. We should start that. Just to have a bunch of 3D printers, and you print out like a model kit, and people go and make their own spaceships. Yeah, that'd be great.
You know, I would buy a plushie Star Destroyer. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would totally buy a plushie Millennium Falcon.
Be like a daybed.
A plushie Serenity. Give me a plushie Serenity. So folks, first off, before we get started, I wanted to apologize for not having a show last week. Starting at 6 a.m. Has been kicking my ass, and last week it hit me really hard. So I'm finally coming out the other end and getting used to it. But last week it was like 3 o'clock, and I was like, I don't wanna. So I apologize for not having a show last week, but now we're back. I'm feeling better. Wait, apparently there is a Millennium Falcon plush. Oh my God.
Yeah, oh my God. That doesn't surprise me.
Oh my God, it's only $20. How big is it? It's not that big. You could use it as a small nap pillow, maybe. Wow. That's plushy, all right. Oh.
You know the spaceship on your screen right now kind of looks plushy.
It does. The game we're streaming in the background, that there's a video of it on the YouTube channel. It's called Space Scavenger. It doesn't come out for like a couple of weeks, but it's an arcadey building game. And
it's got space sugar cube.
It's with lightning. It's so cute. But it's got some of the most efficient building I've ever seen in a space game. That's why I chose it for the video. But I got the idea for this one after playing Nimbatus, which, if y'all aren't aware, is a game where you design drones. You send them down to a planet to fight and to mine. And if you've listened to this podcast, you know that I've said many times, I am terrible at building things. I'm not good at it at all because I have no patience and no aesthetics in my brain. So I'm terrible at building things. Typically. And so with that game, like if you watch my videos of it, some people commented that my videos of Nimbatus were actually painful because my drones were terrible. How about you guys? Are you guys good at building things in games? Not just space games, but like in general? Like, are you guys?
I thought I was pretty good at stuff, but I tend toward like efficient and functional designs. And then I put a couple like pieces of flair on to just make it look like it's not just a rectangle. But the guys that I game with in the Arma stuff, they have a Minecraft server, And I thought, oh, hey, yeah, let me log into your Minecraft server. Holy crap. Like some of those people, I don't know what they do the other 4 hours of the day because they're, dude, oh my God. It's like legit architecture going on in there. It's freaky.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm really good at building ships per se in games. Like I've made a couple of attempts that were like, oh, that's pretty good, but then like I try to replicate that, and for the life of me, the blueprint of that one good like opportunity was gone. Like I just can't remember exactly what it is that I did. Although I feel like maybe I'm more better is a wrong way of saying it, but anyway, I'm better at building, I would say, like structures. I had one time I built a really cool thing in Space Engineers on like the Mars like planet, where it was like in a crater and it was like a landing platform and like a thing. It was really cool looking how like I designed it, because it was like I was partially inspired by the film Oblivion, where they had I don't know if you've seen the film, but in the film they live on this kind of stilted structure, and it's up in the sky. And so I kind of took that as my inspiration and built something similar in a crater on a Mars like in. But you know what? Ever since then, I have never been able to like replicate that. So or do anything cool. And like Jim said, like there's times where like in Minecraft, sometimes you just get like fortunate, like where you're in an area where like the terrain might be just right where you like mold it and build something really cool, and then like you play it again later and you're like, how was I really good that one time I played this?
Spaz, what about you? Are you good at building stuff? You play a lot. You definitely play like a decent amount of building games like Astroneer and No Man's Sky. So how are you at building stuff?
I'm always focused on function over form, but when I don't necessarily have a specific design in mind, it's very chaotic. And so for Astroneer, my bases are always, okay, this is the platform I need next to my power, and this is where I need to do my storage. And for my smelter, I'll put a pit in the ground, aim the smelter so that it aims down into the pit, and so every time it smelts something, everything just falls into that little pit and it stays there. It's chaotic, and I'm okay with that because I have no sense of aesthetics.
It's like Avorion is the game.
I was about to bring that up. Yeah,
you would think like we could go wild. You could make any damn thing in that. And all my ships look like the monolith from 2001 with engines bolted on.
With like one engine, a couple of thrusters. So yeah. Oh my God. Every ship I make in Avorion is the most rectangular freaking thing. And then you go into the workshop and you're just blown away by the stuff people make in there. You're like, how do you do this?
Oh my God! There's a little sword that swings that you put on the front of your little ship there. Oh my God!
This game has crossbows, dude. That's one of the weapons you can get later. Is a crossbow in a space game. But yeah, it's got a little. You turned your spaceship into a narwhal. It's got a little lightsaber that you can just flick around like that. Yeah.
There is a game called Starwall. Have you seen Starwall?
No. What?
It's called Starwall. Starwhal. And it had a subtitle, which was called Just the Tip. And the idea is you are space narwhals, and your idea is to joust with the other space narwhal and stab it.
So it's kind of like general jousting in a way.
But more family friendly.
Yeah, but man, that game.
Oh, I just wish listed that.
Yeah, they dropped the subtitle after, I think it might have been for the Switch release, because I know that it went on to console. So they wanted to not have the subtitle.
It had to be Nintendo friendly.
But yeah, Avorion is a game like that I was thinking of because it mixes, like, I don't know how much you guys have played it, but like its building mechanics are probably one of the better mixes I've seen of both complexity and simplicity. Like, you can build all kinds of
I don't
crazy
know,
stuff
like-
in there, but it's not hard to build something decent.
I don't know. There's something about Avorion that just bugs me. Like I have a hard time getting into it.
That's not unfair. I've hit my head so against the wall so many times with that game. Because like they explain next to nothing. and
Yeah.
so they explain next to nothing. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I think the reason that my ships are like shit in that game is because there's not a reason not to. Like sometimes a brick is the most efficient ship, right?
Yeah.
Because if I make a bunch of pieces that hang off, they can get shot off, and then I've got like a center of gravity problem, and I just twirl around. So you can make some fancy stuff, but sometimes a brick gets it done. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of wish that there were some like engineering reasons why you would do fancy stuff like putting the cells on it or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel that when humanity finally travels, and unless like the means of faster than light dictates, that you have like a saucer shape or something, I think we're just going to fly bricks.
Or as Shogun said, cylinders. He
Yeah.
thinks the most efficient ship design is a cylinder, and that got me thinking about Children of a Dead Earth. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know if
Which I've
the
never
ship-
got to the point where you construct ships in that.
I've seen people do it, and it looks great. I don't want to do it myself. But those ships in that game are not pretty. They are not.
They are definitely
they are
function.
Pure function. Yes, pure function. But they get the job done. Folks, if you haven't played Children of a Dead Earth, by the way, and you've always wanted Kerbal, but with guns, that is... Now, there's a game I could never get into, is Kerbal Space Program. It's just too finicky.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up because Kerbal is another thing like Avorion where at first I can actually really dig the initial part of Kerbal where it's just like, cool, let's try and make something that can try and go up into space and like establish orbit. And it's just like, cool. What kind of thing can I do? It's almost like a bridge simulator. It's like some kind of just like funky sim. But then there's people who go out and they're like exploring space and like landing on Mars and doing all this other stuff and like doing the math for like the trajectory to like orbit the moon. I'm just like, nah. Like I thought I'd build a cool like rocket and just like see what happens.
Or you get the guy that like makes the full on legit flying pirate ship with sails and everything.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah.
I've bashed my head against Kerbal so many times. I know people love it, and it's so beloved, and yet I cannot get into it because I just do not want to build anything. I don't like building for the most part. I just want to give me a ship and let me go.
And that's the show, folks. So we'll see you next week.
But so many games try to make their building engaging, and there are a lot that succeed. I want to talk about both the ones that succeed and the ones that fail. Like, let's start with the ones that fail. Like, what's a space game or any game, but if you can think of a space game, what would you say is like a space game that totally failed to capture you with its building? Like besides Kerbal, we already talked about Kerbal. Is there another one you can think of where it's like, oh god, this is terrible? I can think
what's
of
that one that we just loathe that came out like way back when?
Kinetic Void
was
Kinetic Void.
we will never pass up an opportunity to crap in the everlasting toilet that is Kinetic Void. What a pile of garbage. And if the developer
there's
ever
been a
hears
lot
this,
of games that have there's been a lot of games that have kind of done that, and some games that just go like, cubes kind of things.
Yeah.
Is the one that was Java based. I'm getting worse with game names as I get older, so I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, because we had him on the show. He's
Did
in
we?
the dev channel, I can't remember what it was.
Oh, damn! I don't remember.
But anyway, that was kind of cool game. Yeah, it
There
just,
was Hellion.
yeah.
Oh God,
I don't know
remember
that game.
Wait,
It had a
was
lot
that
of
a
promise.
space one? Like, was that a building one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't really freeform build, but you could like snap chunks of ships together.
Yeah, you
and
go
then,
out
like,
and bring the ship parts to your ship and then snap them on.
yeah,
Hmm.
which is an interesting concept of its own, right? Because it's like, hey, here's pre-generated interesting parts, and how you snap this together is up to you. But the function will be different depending on how you do it. And that way you don't have to design the cool looking stuff. You just have to deal with it. And maybe that's not so. The spaceship building game that I really actually liked was what was the one where you had to leave a flaw in your ship because you had to fight it in the next level?
Oh, Derelict.
Defect.
Yeah,
Defect.
defect.
Defect. Yes.
Yeah. That one was pretty cool. Good concept.
Yeah,
So,
that was a good concept and a good game.
And the building was hella simple.
Yes, which I appreciate.
Actually kind of meant something.
Yeah, because you can't make it too good.
Yeah, but shape mattered. That was the thing.
The one that I always think of is, I don't know if you guys played it, it's called Starship Corporation, where you build both the inside and the outside of a ship. So it's like, remember SimCity 2000 where you had to line up the water pipes? Let's make a whole game out of building a ship like that. I wanted to tear my eyes out. I really, really hated every second of that. Cause it's like, oh, I have to put the power over there, but this staircase I built is in the way. Okay, I'll move the whole staircase. There's nowhere else to put the staircase. Oh, for fuck's. Okay. That to me is probably.
You need to get more German and then try it again, I think.
German engineering.
The dev of that is German, if I remember correctly.
Indeed.
Oh my God. I usually I try to have patience for a game, but that one just made me want to throw my computer out the window. Shogun, if you remember the name of the game you're talking about, we're talking about games we feel that failed at the building aspect. Can you guys think of any more before we move on to the actual good ones?
Well, more station builder than anything, but Meeple Station.
Fuck that game. Sorry, my language, but
so you don't recommend that one then?
No,
okay.
That game made me cry.
I
don't know. That game made me literally cry. I was recording it and I got to a point and it was just so frustrating. I started crying while I was recording a video for it. I was actually gonna say
Osiris, but only because
I don't remember that one.
No, you noped out of that one, Brian. You noped out of it in 20 minutes because you saw a creep and then it caused you to nope out and kill the stream.
Oh, right. Oh, I remember that now. I remember noping out.
Go ahead, Hunter.
No, I was just like, it's a shame because you can't really fault it for being bad because it wasn't even a fully fledged game because it was still in development. But at the same time, I was really frustrated by that game because of just how modular it was, I guess. Like it didn't feel fully fleshed out. Now, if you want to talk about like a base building game that I did like, it kind of counts is Subnautica.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I would say that counts. Sure.
I mean, you start in space.
Yeah, no, it's fair. No, base building's a big part of that one. I didn't get far in that one either. But yeah, building is a yes, reassembly. We were going to talk about that one, Shogun, as an example of a very good as a winning example of building spaceships in a game. That I think that's one of the best. So since Shogun brought it up, do you guys remember reassembly at all? It came out like a million years ago in gaming time, but it was like 2014, 2015.
I remember it. It's where you snap the polygonal ships together, and
yeah,
that game was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was a great game.
That reminded me of oh god, what was that other one? It was Captain something.
Oh
crap! Hold on.
It was very similar to Boss Constructor, also. If you guys haven't played that one, Captain Forever. Yes, thank you. Yes, Captain Forever is another. Yeah, thank you. I forgot about that one. Captain Forever is a very good one. Yes.
I think Captain Forever actually came first because it was like a browser web game in Java.
I think so. And
then they did the remix version.
Yeah, that's what I had to look up to find the name of. I knew it was in my library somewhere.
But yeah, Shogun brings up reassembly, and I was going to say that's probably one of my favorite examples of a shipbuilder, like shipbuilding done well, because it allows for a lot of flexibility, but it's snap simple. It's like Lego simple, you know? And it came out, 2015 was a million years ago in gaming parlance.
And was it? I think so. A game you probably haven't thought of is Space Pirates and Zombies 2, which is another very much snap together ship game.
It is on my list. I think the sad thing about that game is that's the best part of it. Like the actual gameplay. I don't know about you guys, but I petered out real fast with that game. And
it's like there's a lot going on, but I don't know if I care.
Yeah, like
thing.
the first game I played the hell out of. But the second one was like, I just don't care.
I helped test the first game, so I'm a little biased on that one, but
we all love. I think everyone loves
I prefer I prefer the first one to the second. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
I think that's common. I think that's why they're not making a Spaz 3. Instead, they're making a golf game,
which looks wackadoo, but I love the concept.
I want it. I want the hell. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, the Spaz folks are making a golf game now, which looks amazing. AC Wraith, you won Spaz 2 with a Warframe Valentine's letter? What? Wait, how? Okay, I don't understand this. I'm going to read this verbatim. I won Spaz 2 with my Warframe Valentine's letter, therefore it must be awesome. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, it was a contest. Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
I remember the contest.
Okay, I thought Spaz had like some kind of Warframe crossover event, like Dying Light does with Left 4 Dead and stuff. And I'm like, wait, was there Warframe crap in Spaz 2? Was there Spaz crap in Warframe? Okay. Yeah, Spaz.
Now, if you got like dinner with Rebecca, I would write a hell of a Valentine for them. That would be
who?
It would be epic. Who? Rebecca. She works for Warframe. Everybody that plays Warframe knows exactly who I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. But yeah, Spaz 2 is a great example of Space Mom, apparently, it says AC Wraith.
She abandoned us, though.
Oh.
You have to play the game.
So yeah, Spaz 2 is a great example of great shipbuilding without much of a game. Now, have you guys played Boss Constructor at all? Because that has both great building and a great game. That's I think it's one of the better examples of great shipbuilding with a good game attached alongside.
Okay, so I thought, is it because there was one where it was just like you build a ship and you fight a boss, and then you get pieces of it, and then you build another ship and you just fight another boss. I don't know if that was the same game
I
that
don't
I'm
think
thinking.
so.
So what's the game loop in Boss Constructor? Is there like
there
a
are
world
several
that you're in? And
There are several game modes, but the big one is the exploration campaign, where you have lots of systems, and
all right, now we're talking.
Each system has a goal before you can move on to the next one, if I'm remembering correctly. And so you build a ship, and then you try and fight your way out of that sector to the next one.
So
you find
is it kind of
parts
like
along the way.
Nexus? Is it kind of Nexus-y?
No, it's
in
more
that way?
actiony. It's more actiony. It's definitely
Okay.
more actiony. Wait, Shogun, there's one that you previewed a while ago which had a very fishy aesthetic to it. Oh God. Fishy aesthetic. God damn it. I'm looking at my list here that I came up with and looking at the wiki, and I cannot. Fishy aesthetic. Huh. It'll come to me at 3:00 in the morning tomorrow, Shogun. Which is probably like what, early afternoon for you. So yeah, I'll try and think of that. Jose, no, on the screen right now is a game called Space Scavenger, which I like Nimbatus, but I like this more. You made a sea monster thing and swarm around killing other fish things. Oh, we streamed that one. We streamed that one.
It was Nimbus or something, wasn't it?
No, yeah, something like that. You guys talk. I'll go look it up. You guys chat. Like, talk for a second about a game with space building that you liked, and I'll look it up.
So I have a question about that game that just came out in early access. That's kind of like a spaceship FTL with
Space Haven.
The Sims going on. Space Haven. Yeah. So what's the score on that? Is it trustworthy at this point, or is there not enough there to jump in?
I backed it on Kickstarter, so my opinion is obviously going to be biased on this one, but I did back it on Kickstarter. Bug Bite, which has made, they were known for the Battle Void series, like Battle Void Harbinger.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, so they are the ones working on Space Haven. I trust them to make it good, and it's so far my experience with it has been great.
Okay. So, I mean, is the gameplay systems mostly in place, or is it still like really rough work in progress?
I don't feel like it's rough because I've had access to the pre-Steam version, so my backer copy, I have a lot of time in it. Is
there like
there's some work to? Yeah. There's
so you can
stuff.
actually get to the. Well, I mean, you can actually play a full game at this point.
There's a lot of content there. Let me put it that way. No. Let me put it this way. There's a lot of content there because you first build up your ship. Exploring the area you're in, the wrecks that are there, mining while you're building out, getting your infrastructure in place so that you can get ice, and then you melt the ice for water and keep your people alive. You grow your food, which includes artificial meat. And of course, there's the option for alien or even human meat later in the game. Things like that. There's a lot of stuff there. There is a gas system as a gas modeling system in the game where you have to watch the distribution of gases throughout your ship. It's very complex, but it's really awesome in Space Haven.
So because it kind of, like, looking at it's like oh crap, like RimWorld meets Star Command Galaxies is what it looks like to me.
That is a fair comparison. That is a fair comparison. It has some of the complexities of RimWorld, not as brutal. Well, generally speaking, not as brutal. But it is a good mix of those aspects, kind of in between difficulty-wise, between the FTL type of shipbuilder and of RimWorld.
Okay. You're selling me on this. Keep going. It's almost in my cart.
So I mentioned the gas system. If you have your stuff that you want to grow, you have a room you have to set aside and a CO2 generator, because if you don't wall it off, those gases won't concentrate enough in order to get stuff to grow. But there are rooms in which you have heat building up because the equipment in them generates a hell of a lot of heat, and you even have to use spaceships to get in there, space suits to get in there safely and work. So you have to wall those off too. You also have to watch for the noise, because if it's too noisy, your crew can't sleep and they gain fatigue while sleeping.
Oh, weird.
It's all stuff. All this stuff you got to balance.
It's like FTL with Factorio plus crew abuse.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. Yeah,
it's like having noisy neighbors banging on the wall. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot going on. Is it easy to figure out what's going on?
The tutorial is
tutorial stuff.
Yeah,
The
tutorial is really good.
It's way better in every respect than Meeple Station. I was not crying after a half an hour, and I was actually really enjoying myself. And
yeah, Meeple Station had some freaky bugs that it was like, this guy's like, I got 4 doctors and I can't get them to treat anybody, and and it's like, oh well, that'll get patched in short order. And last time I looked, it still wasn't. It's like, oh well. So I don't know. Did they walk away from that thing or what?
I don't know. So the game,
I don't know, unfortunately.
So the game that Shogun and I were trying to remember that I streamed a month or so ago is called SIPHO or SIPHO, SIPHO, and
that's the one.
You're like a life form or a cell or something, and you can put parts on yourself and fight other life forms. And the building was great in that game, and the gameplay was really surprisingly fun. That one,
it's like the good part of Spore.
That's exactly the words I was about to say.
That's what everyone keeps saying. Yeah, it's
Flow. Flow was very.
Flow is also good. Yes.
Oh, was it? I don't think I.
It's imagine that game, but it's. Have you seen that game Everything?
Yeah,
the one where it's got like Alan Watts meditative. Okay, so imagine a chill out game like that mixed with SIPHO. So it's like about like the music and just kind of flowing around and doing, it's like, there's enemies to run from or whatever, but it's not like stress out. It's just like pay attention.
It's very chill.
It'll be fine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want
like that flower game.
Sometimes you want something that's just chill.
Even if you get killed, you just sort of move up to the next level of the simulation, and then you just sort of build your way back so that you can move back down, and then you can continue flowing downward.
So another thing I wanted to talk about, because this is a big deal in 4X games, is shipbuilding. Like, there are a lot of 4X games that let you build your own ships. First off, when you guys play a 4X game that has shipbuilding, do you guys ever build your ships with the tools available, or do you just take the prefabricated designs that the game throws at you?
100%. I take the pre-made designs, like in Stellaris. It's just like,
Does Stellaris have shipbuildings? The Stellaris?
Yeah, actually, it does. Yeah, you can actually customize the type of ships that you want. You can even like build your own race in the game and like define what kind of ships to, like, if they're organic ships, or then like you can customize their loadout styles, or you can go with like the base default, which usually the base default gives you like the best build configuration possible, but you can totally break that apart and do your own thing. It's not like I'm putting on like a wing and then I'm putting on an engine. It's not so much that, because the design is already prefabricated, but you are switching out all of the components in it. So it's kind of Eve in that fact, where it's just like you have the ship already, like whatever, you're designing all of its like features. Like, do I want a stereo? It's just like,
Yeah, because
do you want the undercoating?
Right, exactly.
We don't need the undercoating. We're in California. Just always think of Ant-Man 2 with the underwash or whatever that was.
So this
No,
is interesting. There's a free game called Pixel Starships.
Yes, that's actually great. I love that game.
Really?
Yeah, I
Where is
have a
that?
lot of time in that one.
All right, I think I'll invest the money in it then.
Yeah, I greatly enjoy Pixel Starships. I find it
Oh,
very
I own that
entertaining.
one. It's free to
Yeah.
play, apparently.
So you know what's shocking is in Steam, for the first time, Steam search works. If you put in spaceship building, you get the full list. 197 of them.
Because it's searching
Oh.
by tag, not just the.
Oh,
Well, the tags
that's
are
still
getting
good.
better, I guess.
That's still
Yeah,
good.
well, remember the tags are user generated. So
Well,
if people
users are
have the
getting
wrong
bored, I
tags
guess. I
on
don't know.
something,
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the best game ever in spaceship construction doesn't exist. But what it is Deep Rock Galactic, and then you take the shit that you mine and you build parts for a spaceship and you fly around in it.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
I think there's something
And-
close
Okay.
to that, like Interstellar Rift. I think is close to that.
Well, what's the game, the multiplayer thing we've played it a few times? Pulsar Lost Colony. Is that
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
You fly the ship. Okay, Deep Rock Galactic married to Pulsar,
Oh,
and
That'd be the
I'd,
best game.
I'd, I'd,
asteroid.
I was about to say I'd played nothing but that.
I'd never leave. I'd never stop playing that game if it existed.
Mhm.
I would never
Yeah,
stop
because it'd
playing
just
that.
be like, dock up to this asteroid, go your ass in there, mine it out,
Ah.
deal with whatever tries to
That'll
kill
be
you.
Deep Rock Galactic.
no, the
2.
ship's on-
That'll
Oh
be
no,
Deep
the
Rock
ship's
Gal-
under attack.
That'll be
and then-
be DRG 2 is the instead of the like
Oh, wait,
immobile
wait.
base.
What if it's like like Warhammer? You know, all of a sudden it's orcs that are like attacking your
Well,
ship
yeah,
or whatever.
but it can't be Warhammer because they took the squats out of the universe. So
Oh.
they had dwarves in Warhammer 40k, and they took them away.
They did?
The bastards.
For shame! For shame!
Well-
Space dwarves, dude. Like everybody knows, space dwarves are the best. They're amazing.
But I think the only 4X games that I've spent time actually building anything in are like, I don't know if you guys have played Star Ruler 1 or 2, especially 2, but the ship the shipbuilding in that game, holy Jehoshaphat, it's just and it's just insane. I think the only thing that comes close is probably Gal Civ 3, maybe.
Yeah,
Which
that's
game
fair.
are you talking about?
Star
Star Ruler?
Ruler.
Star
Star
Ruler.
Ruler
Oh.
1 or 2, especially 2. Star Ruler 2 is it's such a shame it flopped because it's such a unique 4X in general in the way it does things, but the shipbuilding in that game is just Shogun has it right. You can make ships the size of galaxies. You can make the biggest. There's no reason to make them that big, but you can, and they work. And they're stupid, but they're amazing. and that game also has like, if you all haven't played Star Ruler 2, get it when it's on sale because it's got like the best diplomacy I've seen in any space game, in any space 4X game, like period. But also some of the best shipbuilding. And damn, if that's probably not some of the best. Like, I might have spent more time building ships in Star Ruler than I did playing the 4X game. Which is like I think the only 4X game I can say that for. It's just so good. But yeah, the Gal Civ games, especially 3, also pride themselves on having a very detailed shipbuilder that I rarely use,
Okay.
but like I've played with it and it's pretty cool.
All
Yes,
right,
Hunter?
I'm gonna be that guy,
Uh
and I'm gonna drop this one in here.
oh.
And I know some people in the chat might disagree, but
okay.
Star Wars Galaxies. Now, allow me to explain.
Okay.
So, as a profession, you can be a shipwright. Okay.
Okay.
So
Understand.
you can actually, even though the ships themselves come out like as a 3D model similar to each other. Their stats can be different, and there are variations on a theme for some ships. So like some ships can be like version A or version B of a said ship, right? But that's just the chassis, right? That's just like the hull of the ship. Because then after that, like you actually physically just buy the chassis, and it can't fly until you actually get it. Like you put an engine in there, you put like all of these other parts in there to actually make it like a working ship. And then the interesting thing about how Galaxies worked is like every single part and component you make is all crafted. Well, a good chunk of them are crafted. You can loot some parts from your different quests and stuff like that. But like if you want to get better stuff, they're usually things that are made by other players, and other players have varying degrees of ability to build parts for these ships themselves. And so you could have a completely unique, customized version of your own YT-1300 because they're not all meant to be like the Millennium Falcon per se, right? Like it's just, the Millennium Falcon was just a modified version of a YT-1300. You could have your own modified, unique version of a YT-1300, or you could have there's just the combinations of like, because when I think about shipbuilding, I'm not just thinking about necessarily physical design, because physical design you can almost do in anything, but I think of it in terms of like stats, right? The customization of like just how you do your stats, and I think this is way better than say like what EVE Online does. Because EVE Online, it like has a very similar concept in my opinion, but it's all very much based around like min-maxing, and usually all of the parts are very much the same, right? So like if you have a J5 turbo, it's going to have the exact same stats as that other person who has a J5 turbo, unless your skills on your person are different. As were with ships in Star Wars Galaxies, it was always the parts that made the difference, not the actual pilot. I always
can you still do that in like Legends? Can you be a shipwright?
yes. Absolutely, 110%.
Really?
Yes.
I might have to try that. That sounds fascinating. That really sounds fascinating. I think I'm gonna have to log into that as soon as possible, and roll a new character. See if
you could totally be a shipwright, but that like what that entails is you actually have to go and you have to learn how to be a crafter using the crafting tools, and then you can go and get the minerals that you need in order to. It's crazy, like what you can do to be a shipwright in that game, and I find that fascinating because that's one of the biggest things that I loved about that game in general when it came to like an ecosystem and a market, was that I could be a shipwright, but you could be a shipwright, but you've got access to better materials, or you have better harvesters, because that was the other thing. Like if you use better materials to make certain things, they would come out with better stats. So it's like saying I make a carbine with wood rather than steel. So it's a wood carbine, it shoots, but like if it was a steel carbine, it would shoot farther.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try this. This sounds like, I'm usually not into crafting typically, but this sounds really oddly appealing. Like in any
and the thing is though,
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, keep going.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say the difference is you're not physically designing the design of the ship. That's where I think things are different, because I think what's appealing to this is like you've already got a very specific ship like chassis that you can do, and there's variations of versions of certain ship chassis. What you're really doing is you're building the chassis, and then you could build all of the different modules for it with their different abilities and stats and ways of doing things. It's kind of really cool that like there's no game today that I think does it, other than EVE is close. But again, the Eve, I guess, recently within the last few years introduced a mutagen thing where you can take a base part, throw it into this, machine, throw this like mutagen goo on it, and it would spit out and like the same thing but with like modified stats. And it was completely random. It could be better or worse. It just depends on like the RNG of the roll for that, which is different than actually crafting. You're just like you're doing a dice roll to try and see if you can't make a module you found better. And sometimes, it could be a really nice module and then you make it worse. And that's not how it was with like the crafting and galaxies. It was all based on like, do you have good supplies? Do you have good materials? Do you have the better crafting system that can, do X, Y, and Z? And
Okay.
I just in general, I will always, to me, that's like my high mark when it comes to like everything that I've wanted in a game that has never been replicated since. Sorry, I'm just that's just my personal opinion.
Do
but like,
not be sorry. No, you've got me intrigued enough to want to log back into Legends, and roll a new character to see about this shipwright thing. That sounds kind of fascinating because, yeah, like you said, no other game that I can think of allows for that kind of career path. Again, that I can think of. I think the closest might be that Starship Corporation game, but that game makes me want to punch a baby. So this sounds like actual fun, unlike Starship Corporation. So, I mean, I guess I'm kind of running out of. I think we've covered just about every game on my list that I came up with.
Okay,
Can you guys think of any
I
others?
got some. All right.
Okay.
So
go
the
ahead.
unpopular game, but everybody must admit that the ship building was good stuff.
Mhm.
Was Star Drive 2. As far as like a
That was
4X game where
probably
you
the
build your
best.
ships.
That was probably the best part about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
because like you build a ship in Master of Orion or whatever, it's like what Hunter was saying. You don't design the ship; you just choose what parts get bolted into.
You're basically
however
bolting
many slots
stats together.
into.
You're basically just bolting
Yeah,
stats together.
But,
Yeah.
but Star Drive 2, it mattered. Like, what shape do you make the ship? Do I put all the cannons on one side? Then my tactics change because now I have to broadside the guy instead. How do I layer up my armor? Where do I hide my fuel at so it doesn't get shot? Stuff like that. And even in like AI battles, it kind of simulated that stuff because if I made a trash ship, it would get killed even though it had good stats. So
Right.
that was cool.
Oh, good.
And then so Undercrewed,
Oh,
which
right.
we've had them on, right?
That's still in early
And,
access, I think.
Is it? I know it's out, but it's probably early access out. But you know what game is not out? And my God, we played this game 4 years ago. It's Cosmoteer. Where the hell is Cosmoteer?
They're still. Oh, if you follow their Twitter, they're very active. They're still working on it. They update it regularly. They post a community ship every day on their
They've
Twitter.
still got the demo up, and that game, I remember that game even from just playing the demo for a little while. I was like, okay, this good shit right here, because it reminded me of like gratuitous space combat, except I could actually fly the ship. But
Yeah,
I could just like have a big ship that just slugged the shit out of everything. Was good. I would say of all the like 2D top down ship snapping together Legos things, I think Cosmoteer is the one that I want. And then
I was just gonna say it has a Steam page you can wish list, and they say 2020, early 2021.
Wish listed super hard. I clicked the button like till it turned inside out. Believe me.
By the way, Undercrewed is still in early access.
So the game I cannot believe Spaz has not mentioned yet is Starship Genesis or whatever that is, Alpha 1.
Genesis Alpha 1. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like
I was going to mention it. I've just been holding off because of the other conversation.
All right, stage is yours, sir.
So Genesis Alpha 1, if you have not played it, is a roguelite. in the tradition of you build your ship. You start with a corporation, and it determines what stuff you bring into your game. And you're trying to find a new home for humanity where every clone on your ship is expendable, including you. But key point, the shipbuilding. Because if you don't build your ship correctly, you will get infestations that will wreck everything. You also have to worry about how you build, because it's not just, oh yeah, I can put stuff between this level and that level. You actually have to have some thought put into it. Function over form, because if the form is great but the function is terrible, you're going to die.
I found the hard way that building for your own personal convenience is the quick way to death.
Yeah,
because it's just like, oh, well, I want these two things to be close to each other because I run between them a lot, and it's like, no, you don't. You need to separate those critical things so you got time. While things are like chewing your ship apart, you don't want those things right next to each other. Okay. I'm terrible at that game, but it is fun.
I did write a Steam guide for it, so it's it is the guide you go to if you want to learn about the game.
That game is
or you just ask me directly.
That game is great if face huggers don't bother you. Then yeah, you'll love that game. Chatham's also brought up a game I forgot about to mention, was Starcom Nexus. I don't know if you guys have played that one, but the building in that game
that's good.
Really, really good. It's just snap and click and done. I think it's also hex based.
It is hex based.
Yeah. And so I can't believe I forgot about that one. I
was going to mention Sword of the Stars.
That's right. Sword of the goddamn Stars.
Yeah, I mean the modular building. Okay, sure, you're just snapping parts together. You're deciding what goes in each of the three major sections. Right. But the amount of variation you could put into it was pretty impressive.
Right. And Jim brought up gratuitous space battles earlier, which is it is an excellent example of don't worry, Shogun, I'm writing all these down. They'll be on the post. I'm writing all these down. I already have a huge list in Trello. Don't you worry. I'm writing all these down.
Is like the Beyblades of spaceship games. It's just like you just kind of Beyblades. It's like those mechanical tops that you would just like throw into an arena and they bash into each other until one of them explodes. So it's basically that. It's just hands off. It's like I built this shit, I put it in formation and go, and then you just watch it happen. It's like spaceship battle ant farm.
Yeah, because you have no direct control.
Yeah. But that's cool because you won or lost before you started the game.
It's fun to see your designs get either shellacked or barely win. It's a shame the second one didn't do well, apparently, because it doesn't look like he's ever going to make another one. But System and Shock brought up the last game I was specifically going to mention was Distant Worlds, which I have spent some time with the shipbuilder in there, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's my favorite 4X, so I'm biased, but that's a very good shipbuilder, where the shipbuilding actually matters. Which I guess is a thing. Like, sometimes the shipbuilding just feels like an afterthought. Like Master of Orion 2, for example. So many people are like, I love shipbuilding and Master... Like, why? That's like the weakest part of that game. I still don't fully get the love for Master of Orion 2, to be perfectly honest with you. Because Mu 1 is such a better game, I think. But that's...
Wait a sec, there's one we missed.
Oh.
We really missed it.
What?
Star Traders Frontiers.
There's shipbuilding in that?
You have modular parts you install to your ship, the upgrades. But it's a huge upgrade system. Because for example, if you decide to take more crew, you're going to lose out because you have only a certain number of large, medium, small slots for the modules you install.
Oh, I see. I must admit I didn't get far in that game because the combat kind of turned me off. And there's so much combat. There's so much combat. But I guess I'm not a fan of that Darkest Dungeon style of
That's fair.
of combat. So yeah, it's got so much going for it though. Oh my god. But just the combat. Oh. Can you skip combat in that game? I don't remember.
No, but when I play, I use a boarding strategy, so of course I'm getting into a lot of combat. But then again, I equip my ship with one weapon, and then I get into boarding range, and then I board them repeatedly and kill other dudes. So, there is something really satisfying in that.
No, that's fair. Shogun just blows them up. So yeah, folks, when I post this to the website, there'll be a list of the recommended and not recommended games we've talked about tonight. So don't worry, I'll be posting that, especially with the big Steam sale coming up. This could be a good shopping list for you guys beyond the curator page, especially if you like shipbuilding. Because there are quite a bit of games that have shipbuilding in it. Quite a bit, and it's impressive. It's always great when it's done well, especially when it's so effortless, like Reassembly or this game on the stream, Space Scavenger, which hopefully you will all play when that comes out on June 12th. I think it's 12th. Yeah. So. But yeah, if you like building ships, the nice thing is there are a lot of options for you, like Nimbatus or like a lot of the ones we brought up tonight. So yeah, I mean, but I always appreciate a game like Avorion where even though there's a heavy focus on shipbuilding, you can just go to a shipyard and buy a ship. You don't have to worry about it. I always appreciate when games do that. It's just Avorion doesn't tell you when you buy a ship you have to wait 5 minutes for it. Doesn't tell you that at all. It doesn't tell you a lot. That's the one problem with that game. But anyway, I'm rambling now, so we should probably stop. What do you guys think? You guys have anything else to add? It's about an hour, so
I think I've exhausted my list.
Yeah,
at least
my list,
offhand.
Yeah, we've covered everything on my list, and I've added just about everything that has been brought up. So that'll probably do it for this episode, folks. Next week on the show, I thought of this because I've been playing a lot of Deep Rock Galactic, mostly solo, but here's some random co-op here and there, and I realized that I hated multiplayer until I was shown how good co-op can make multiplayer. Because of you guys, the three of you basically got me back into multiplayer, thanks to playing X-Wing versus TIE Fighter and seeing how good co-op could be.
The best thing that I find in the co-op in Deep Rock Galactic is even if you don't feel like talking,
you don't have to.
The
it's
ping
great.
system, the ping system works great, and it's I mean that Apex Legends got like all the glory for having this intuitive ping system, but I think Deep Rock beat that one in because Deep Rock's been around longer.
Yeah,
so yeah,
Deep Rock. Yeah, the other day I was playing and a friend's like, "I want to play with you." I'm like, "Okay, but I just don't feel like talking," and because I have social anxiety. It's like if we just can type, that'd be fine. And he was a engineer and I was a scout, and we had no problem because of the ping system. Like, look at this, the ping system. If you guys haven't played Deep Rock Galactic, we gave Deep Rock Galactic the co-op game of the decade for the teens, and and it wasn't even done yet. But now that it's done, it's still like nothing really comes close. So what we're going to talk about next week are good co-op games, not just space games, but good co-op games in general, and what like a lot of them do right, and what a lot of them can do better. So co-op is going to be our main focus next week, because if there wasn't co-op, I probably wouldn't have gotten back into multiplayer, like at all. If it was all competitive crap, I'd be like, I don't care. I'm never playing with people. Like, I don't want to be competitive with people. That's why I really didn't play any Titanfall 2 multiplayer until they added that co-op mode, whatever it was called. I can't remember now. Was it Advanced Frontier? I don't remember. But yeah, we Oh, Ponicus, don't avoid multiplayer in Deep Rock Galactic. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, even with I've played one game with randos, and I loathe doing that. But I tried it because people said it's great. And it's great because you don't even have to talk. Like Jim was saying, you just got the ping system where it works wonderfully. But it also works
now,
great.
We do have... Hold on a sec, Brian. We do have the Looking for Group channel in our Discord.
That's
and
true.
You should join us or join other people from our community, and then at least you know some people who are going to be with you. Just ping
That's
people
true.
in there. Say, hey, I am looking for people to play Deep Rock Galactic. You will have, I'm sure, at least a few people who are going to say they'll join you.
Yeah. And even I might, if there's no chat, if there's no voice chat, then I'll probably be fine. But yeah, so we're going to talk about co-op games next week, because thanks to the people here that I'm podcasting with, I have found a newfound love for multiplayer games pretty much because of co-op. And I've finished games that I never thought I would finish, like Borderlands 2, because of the co-op. I can't believe we're about to finish the main story in Dying Light.
We finished the main story in Far Cry 5.
That's right. We just finished that. That is right. We just finished that.
How'd you like the ending of that? That was pretty crazy, huh?
God damn. Like, wow. That was a hell of an ending. So our next entry, we're going to do the DLC, and then we're going to move on to New Dawn, which I'm excited about.
I have yet to actually play New Dawn, so...
Yeah, I've not even touched it. It was on deep sale like several months ago, so I'm like, we're going to play this. I might as well get it. Once we finish Far Cry 5. Yeah, we just finished Far Cry 5 co-op. So yeah, we'll talk about great co-op experiences and like some games we've tried that could do better, and whatnot, and what we'd like to see more of. So that'll be next week. So thank you, as always, everyone, for listening and watching, mostly listening. And a special thank you, as always, to those of you who support us via Patreon and Twitch, and whatever other method you could spare. You can go to spacegamejunkie.com/support if you have anything to spare to help us get closer to a full-time endeavor, whether it's using an affiliate link on the Epic Games Store during their big sale right now, or buying a mug, or whatever. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. So thank you so much. And with that, we will see you back here tomorrow at 6 a.m. It's still hard saying that because I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting up at 6 a.m. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 6 a.m. for more Mass Effect 3. Apparently, am I right? We're approaching the home stretch of that one?
Yeah.
We're
approaching the home stretch. Have to do some multiplayer in order to boost the war score a little bit. But it's going to be fun. I'll tell you that. It's going to be fun.
If we're going to do the multiplayer, then count me in on that. I'll try and do some of that if you guys need.
Oh,
okay.
I'll
try. Figure it out.
So Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
You played that already before
we finished
3,
it.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, we finished 2. Yeah,
right.
We finished 2. Yeah. Definitely.
So who was your favorite character
Garrus.
of all the people?
Garrus.
Okay.
Just I'm all about Garrus. I want there to be a Garrus side series of games where you play Garrus as a cop before all this went down. I love Garrus. I'm all about Garrus.
Did you play through the buddy cop mission stuff on the Citadel? That was in 2, wasn't
I
it?
think so.
Okay.
I think so.
It was like some bonus mission DLC stuff. There was some like Garrus cop crap. But anyway, yes, absolutely. In fact, I want to play XCOM Chimera Squad and replace one of my dudes with Garrus. That would be great.
I wouldn't be.
If
I think
Chimera
there's a
Squad
mod.
had been a Mass Effect like universe thing, and instead of like, oh, I'm in City 17 or whatever it is, it'd just be like, we're on the Citadel, whatever.
Yeah.
And just do
Well, it
Mass
has
Effect.
modding capability. Someone might do it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I've seen a Garrus mod for XCOM 2. I think I've actually
Yeah.
seen that for XCOM 2, but I don't know about Chimera Squad.
Okay, I can't remember the dude's name, but he was one of the mercenary guys that you picked up, and it was basically like having Boba Fett on your ship, right? 'Cause you
Zaid.
got him. Yeah, Zaid. Dude, I'd be between missions. I would just run down to that guy's room and just be like, got any cool war stories to tell me, bro? Because yeah, he was cool. I didn't take him on many missions, but I would always
No,
just
I
listen
never
to his
take-
campfire tales.
I'm all about Garrus and Tali on my missions. I don't take anybody else. It's just those two, 100%. I sometimes I'll take who's the Spaz? Who's the blue girl?
You took Liara. You took
Liara.
Liara for some of them. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because there was
But
no
other
Tali.
than that, it's
In the absence of
Right.
Tali, I'll take Liara because she does a good job. But if I have a choice, it's
Man.
Garrus and Tali, 100%.
I
100%.
I don't know, man. I was always about Liara myself.
Now, Liara's great. If there was no Tali, I probably would have taken Liara all the time. But Tali is my second favorite character.
She my space waifu.
Yes. Oh, I'm with you 100%. 100%. She's my Mass Effect girlfriend. I say that with my wife in the room. Hi, honey.
Mom,
Don't be
Dad,
jealous.
I want you to meet Tally.
Don't be jealous. Yeah, she wears a suit that she could never ever leave, or very rarely.
You get, yeah.
You can't see her face. You can always see these little weird eye slits. Anyway,
Yeah,
So-
I was
Weird.
disappointed they didn't have like a Geth romance option
if
and get some of that cold steel.
you're a femme ship, but I guess male ship would be okay too. I don't see
That
why
would be
not.
that'd be a little like what's
Why
what's the guy who did all the alien designs?
Geiger,
Like
Geyer,
there's
Geyer?
that's what that would remind me of. It's like
Yeah.
you get on with the Geth, I'd be like, this is a little too Geigery for me.
God, this makes me think we should just have a podcast where we don't have a topic. and we just
Listen, everybody, if
you know what? That's what we're gonna do in 2 weeks. We're just no topic, just go. That's what we're gonna do.
if you guys are old enough to drink, grab a beer or whatever your favorite spirit is.
We're
We'll
just
pull up
gonna
a chair and we'll talk about
We're just gonna shoot the crap.
whatever.
So, folks, again, thank you so much for listening and for hanging out with us. Your time is your most valuable thing, and we love that you share some of your valuable time with us. So thank you so much, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 6 a.m. for some Mass Effect 3. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.